Guys, thank you for joining us for Robot Underdog's Light of Hope Dragon Ball Z panel, the first ever to debut here at Long Beach Comic-Con. Give yourselves a round of applause. Now, more this thing doesn't work, so I'm going to use this as a prop if you guys don't mind. Makes me feel comfortable addressing you guys here. Real quick, we'll be going over some major plot points that take place during the series for those of you guys that have not actually seen the first episode. Then we'll be talking about what to expect in the upcoming episode 2 and 3. We have cast and crew that we'll be introducing, but first and foremost, before we do that, let me introduce myself. My name is Mark Doris. Most of you guys may not recognize me. I'm the co-founder of GeekOutpost.com. I do a lot of advertising work for the guys over here at Robot Underdog as a super fan, helping them kind of look over their scripts, cover some plot points to make sure that the series continues on to please you guys, but we're also having a very unique vision brought to you by Donnie and Rita McMillan, the producer and directors, but we'll go over all that stuff here momentarily. Again, I still can't believe that I'm actually holding this thing, but let's go ahead and show a clip. My God, doesn't that bring tears to your eyes in a good way, of course, unlike that Dragon Ball Evolution. Tears of sorrow and despair. Like something like this, I'll tell you right now, that's exciting. And I think this is just something that will be a prelude into what we can see later on in the rest of the series of the Light of Hope. Now, obviously we've got the cast and crew up here. Not everyone could make it, so we brought some of the familiar faces and some behind-the-scenes unfamiliar faces. Of course, the two that you have to my left, we've got Rita and Donnie McMillan, who are the producer and director. We have our choreographer Lohan and one of our writers of the upcoming episode 3, Paris. These guys right here. Now, the other 4 you guys probably already know. You've got Tyler, who plays Android 17, the maniacal killer. I'm very proud to have sitting next to each other because you've got Jack, who plays the younger version of Trunks, and then you have what he'll grow up into, the older version, Tim Neff of future Trunks. And then last but certainly not least, we've got Ruth Ann Thompson, who plays Bulma from the series, from the very beginning from Dragon Ball all the way up until the present in Dragon Ball Z, and of course, Dragon Ball Super. Give a round of applause. It will be my duty to sort of answer some of the questions that mostly you guys will probably want to know the answers to. There will be a Q&A towards the end, however, to kind of maybe touch base on some of the things that you guys didn't get a chance to find out based on what we talk about up here today. But the first thing that I actually want to ask of the director and producer, tell us a little bit about the vision that you guys have had for this series and what it's been like to try to appease so many fans across the world that were dying to see a live-action series and done so right. Now this mic actually right here works, so you guys can use it and you don't have to yell like I am.
That's good. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for coming out. As you can probably tell, we're basing our series off the history of Trunks, the TV special. It's basically, we liked it because it has more of a gritty feel compared to Dragon Ball and most of Dragon Ball Z. And we just really wanted to do something that did justice to Dragon Ball fans, or for Dragon Ball fans, and like he said, just kind of pretend evolution didn't happen and do something for the fans, by the fans, and just do something dark and gritty and just something real, something that feels real, And we all kind of watched Man of Steel, and I think every Dragon Ball fan that I know has watched Man of Steel and goes, it can be done. And we really took a lot of inspiration off that, the colors and just the overall vibe, and kind of ran with it. And obviously we didn't have the hundreds of millions of dollars, but we have just really talented guys for CG, stunts, acting, fighting, and we just really poured our hearts into it and took our time with it, and that's kind of what got us going there.
You said something that's very, very interesting. So you said yourself that you don't have a whole lot of money in terms of big Hollywood financing to produce such a project. Let me ask you this, and this is kind of another Dragon Ball Evolution related question. What do you guys think was the biggest obstacle to avoid such a Hollywood disaster with a massive budget and create something that so many people have nothing but amazing things to say on such a smaller scale? I mean, that is such a big gap, I think, from fan-made to Hollywood-made, and that was just a train wreck. But this is a whole other playing field where you guys have clearly success in fans of millions around the world.
I'll let our producer answer that one.
Well, first of all, it was staying true to the story, which we all know other adaptations and the movie did not. So that was our number one thing. Okay, if we can just stick to the story for the most part. Obviously, some things will be adapted. You know, certain things don't carry over from anime to real life. But the overall gist of the story should stay the same because that's something that Dragon Ball Z fans haven't got to experience yet. So that was our number one objective. And then number two would just be, you know, relying on the awesome people we had on the team. I guess just to talk about here, like Lohan, the fight choreographer, reached out to us and was like, oh, I love Dragon Ball Z since I was a kid. It's why, you know, I do martial arts. Okay, so let him do his thing and make it as awesome as possible. Our CG and VFX guy, Greg, he's not here, but he was also a Dragon Ball Z fan. And so it just really came from the head of each department and the actors as well, all having such a love for it and letting them kind of bring their love to the table in a way where they could make each part of the project the best it could be because they loved it so much.
Okay, I have a follow-up to that. However, there's something that I forgot to say, and this is very important for you guys. We do have, you may have noticed, a little shining, gleaming Dragon Ball up front, in addition to some t-shirts we're going to be giving away. So if you guys want to take that opportunity to tweet at robot_, no underscores, all one word, hashtag Light of Hope. We will be picking at the end, based on whatever you guys tweet, to win these t-shirts and the Dragon Ball that you see up front. So if you guys want to take a second to go ahead and do that, or do that throughout the panel, just pay attention, okay? We don't want you guys on your phones doing all that stuff while we're talking to you. Alright, so you said that a lot of things can't... you said that one of the big things that you just said was, there are some things in anime that don't translate into real life. Now, what we saw up here was fantastic. The ki blast, the transformation was super epic, the introduction of the androids and the characters, it's beautifully done. Throughout this process, was there at any point one big thing that you thought, man, Dragon Ball Z, this is amazing, I would love to have this in the series, but we just can't do it because either A, it just didn't make sense, or B, it didn't fit into your means of creating a live-action version of the anime?
I would say the thing we run into the most is the inner monologues. Anyone who watches Dragon Ball Z knows that at least half the time they're talking to themselves. And that tells you a lot of the story, and you can get a lot of the story by them speaking to themselves. And that's something that we had a hard time translating. Also talking during a battle, talking during fighting, talking really during any like climactic moments, which they often stop in Dragon Ball Z, you know, if Trunks is powering up or someone about to fight Cell, they stop and have a conversation, which, you know, really does not translate. So I would say that was probably one of the biggest hurdles. I know we've talked about capsules before too, how we thought that would be fun, but that's something, you know, you can't really toss. Things that basically might not make sense in real life, because part of the reasons, as Donnie was saying, that we picked the history of Trunks was because it feels the most like real life, and we kind of want to bring that to the series as well. So basically anything that's super magical, you know, dinosaurs, capsules, all of that kind of stuff is something we kind of have to leave out.
Yeah, there's just the fantasy element to the anime. It is a really tough thing to adapt, just because there's certain things you accept in anime form or Western cartoon form versus live action. So yeah, there was some, it was tough, you know, like you can't have a talking pig when you want things to feel real, you know, just stuff like that you just have to consider. It's like you really want it to be, you want to cram all that stuff in there, but you just kind of have to pick and choose what works and what doesn't, and then at the same time try to respect the stuff that you are going to include and try to be true, but, you know, believable. It makes for a fun challenge.
There's some like octopus.
It's good ambiance.
But yeah, those are the hard things for me.
So you brought up a really good point, and I think that's kind of interesting. Akira Toriyama, as we know, a lot of times throughout the series there were some major plot points and other things that he either forgot or didn't want to include from maybe the start of a series and then later on. And I just got to thinking it would have been really hilarious if at one point, because dinosaurs do exist in the Dragon Ball world, that maybe Android 17 would go on a fight and then a T-Rex just like jumps right in the middle of it and they get into a big scuffle with dinosaurs. I don't know, like that just to me always seemed like that would be kind of funny. But when there's so much dialogue and so much build-up, and exposition for the characters that takes place in between. I gotta say, there was one scene in here prior to Anton, who's not here, he plays Gohan, before he powered up into a Super Saiyan. There's one little moment that I couldn't help but chuckling in my head, because it's kind of like a nod to that. is as Gohan is powering up his Kamehameha, which is obviously one of the most iconic things in all of anime, let alone this particular series, he's about to fire it at Android 17, and Android 17 just punches him like right in the face and takes him down. And I just think that's amazing how there could... Yeah, just taking him out, you know, instead of letting that powerful attack hit him, it just turned into like, yeah, I'm just going to stop this before it goes too far. But my next question that I have, obviously we saw a clip that summarizes the more action cinematics that take place in the first episode is for Lohan. He's in the back here, if you don't mind. I want to put you on the spot here, sir. He is the choreographer of the series. Obviously there's some epics and amazing action sequences that we saw. Clearly there's going to be some that are coming up down the road. You probably have one of the most difficult behind-the-scenes jobs of anybody else aside from people like Paris who have to write the actual story. Can you tell us a little about what that process was like and what experiences you had that were really eye-opening to kind of translate an anime fight scene into real life?
Well, I don't think it's a tougher job than anybody else. I think it's just different. But yeah, no, the thing is, you obviously you have limitation, budget, time. So we all know that with a big budget, everything is possible. So like you said, we saw Man of Steel, but how do you get into a Man of Steel or a Dragon Ball style fight with pretty much no budget and just a few days of shooting? That was the hard time. So yeah, I have to say that I had a few headaches at home trying to find out how to do it. But you know, I mean, I was stressed out the entire process, but I was happy to see how it turned out. We, you know, we try and error. So now, let's just say that I've learned a lot from there, so I can tell you that episode 2 and 3 will have something much more bigger in scope in terms of fighting and more impressive, I think. So, yeah.
Just to follow up on that a little bit too, again, still using a mic that doesn't actually work, it's just fun to me. So when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, a lot of the martial arts is unique because it's an anime, it's Japanese anime, it's cartoon. But it does kind of piggyback on some existing martial arts forms that we do see in real life, in everyday life. Was there anything in particular throughout that process where you had to be like, all right, well, I know this X and Y, Z martial art, however, they do it so much differently in anime. Was there something you had to tweak or adjust, or something you had to just bring into that mix or formula where you were just like, I didn't expect this fight to go like this because it's an animated series and it's not like any existing martial art. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think I understand what you said, but I was just trying to follow a kind of a logic. I mean, you have your own Dragon Ball Z physics where people can fly and send ki blasts, but I try to be, for example, if you can fly, why would you try to do a backflip if you can fly? You know, so why would you have a fancy technique where you use your opponent's strengths when you punch, you can destroy a mountain? So I'm trying to stay through that. What you would do, I'm trying to be them. What would I do if I had that much power? Would I bother turn around? Would I bother trying to stay on my guard? No, I would punch. And, you know, so I'm trying to... So basically, I'm just trying to stay, you know, pretty basic and standard techniques of kicking and punching, and just trying to convey the power they would have when executing those techniques, you know. And that's why I'm just trying to stay true to that.
We've done an excellent job. I think we can all agree that based on what we've seen here and what we know is coming, what we hope to see coming, is going to be extremely big, and you've already done, like I said, an amazing job with the choreography, so I think there's a lot of people here that can definitely agree with me. Is there anything you want to add as far as the experience, or anything unique to your job this time around as a choreographer that maybe some of the people up here in the crowd may not know exactly?
Well, not really. I mean, it's every episode is going to be a new experience because the way we approach this new fight for episode 2 is very different from the way we did the first one. So again, I mean, I have the experience of first, but I'm as nervous as the first one because it's new again. But you know, we started some tests. It's going to be awesome. So stay tuned.
Awesome. Very excited. Now, my next question that I have is going to be for Paris. He's one of the script writers for the series. Paris, you also have a very unique and interesting job. When it comes to taking something like anime, maybe not necessarily from a choreography standpoint, but from a story standpoint, that brings on a whole new level of obstacles and hurdles that you have to get over. What was your biggest challenge that you thought, like, man, if I did this, I'm really going to piss off the fans, but this is how it really is, but maybe we got to change it, like, you know what I mean? Like, what is something that you had to really, really think hard about before implementing that into the series to make sure that everyone was satisfied?
Yeah, that's a good point. When you have something like this that has so much rich history and so many people around the planet that care about it, you obviously want to do justice to, you know, the material and to the fans. but at the same time, you do have to realize that you have to try to adapt some things and make some things your own. So the challenge is just always trying to figure out a healthy balance of, okay, this can stay, okay, that has to go. And you just have to hope that your vision comes to life properly and people understand that why certain choices were made, and you just have to believe that people are smart enough to get it, you know. I mean, sometimes there's certain things you can keep, sometimes some things you can't keep, but at the end of the day, as long as you know that I'm always going to be at the place of, I want to make something good for the fans. You always have to serve the fans and make sure they're seeing something that they're going to enjoy, they're going to love, that's going to be true to what they've known. And as long as you're doing that, you know, it always turns out pretty good.
And I think the final product that we have with the series and the changes that were made and any adjustments or any characters or materials that were lost in translation on purpose because of such reasons, I think we can all agree were necessary, and we appreciate what's on here. But Donnie brought up that obviously you can't have anthropomorphic characters like Oolong and Puar. So let me ask you an extremely serious and important question. Do you miss Oolong and Puar, and should they be in this series? Is that a big loss for you?
I'm going to go with no. I think everybody we got in here is needed. So I just think, like they said, it pulls away from the realism a little bit if you got Babe in there. So I think the guys we got in there are the ones that need to be in there getting screen time. So I personally don't miss them.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Chris. We're going to be asking some more questions of the crew as time permits and goes on. We'll be hitting the cast up after that, but as of right now, we've got one or more clips. Was it coming?
We have a CG breakdown for how we did some of the visual effects next.
Okay, so we're going to go over some visual effects stuff a little bit. We have some clips that we want to show, but we're going to go over some CG breakdown now, and then we'll get to maybe another clip and then some questions. I'll get the link.
So this video is our CG artist. He's just amazing. I wish he could have been here. He put endless hours into some of these shots. His name's Gregory Hall. He lives down in Orlando, Florida. He sent us this video just to show you a breakdown of how he did some of the key blasts for episode 1, and some other visual effects for episode 1, and then we're going to show you guys a 3D render of what the armor, the Saiyan armor, is going to look like in the future episodes. So I'm really excited to show you guys that, and yeah, and a look at the time machine and some other really cool stuff that will be in these future episodes.
Alright, so first and foremost, let me say, that was pretty damn impressive. From the Saiyan armor to the amazing CGI effects related to the time machine and the cars and the jacket with Boba Joker. You guys can check him out on Twitter at CosplayCorp. All one word. He also runs on Facebook, Intergalactic Props. He is fantastic. The stuff that he does is absolutely impressive, and he's going to be doing a lot of the props for this project that look like from unique things that you guys have just seen, altered to the vision of the two that you see here, in addition to some of the stuff that will be a little bit more ripped right out from the manga and the anime. For the sake of time, I'm going to try to ask a couple questions real quick, powering through for the four of you guys, and then give some time to you guys to answer some questions. Won't get to a ton, but we'll try to make sure that these questions are worth asking if we can. Okay, so first things first, Tyler.
Hey.
Oh, sorry.
Hey.
You portray probably one of the most favorited villains within all of the series, and his character, depending on which universe, in the universe that we're in, he is maniacal, he's deadly, he's crazy, he wants to kill everything. In the other series, or the present, in the main timeline, the character's a little bit different, but you get the fun of playing the psychopath that just wants to kill everything just because it's super entertaining. Tell us a little bit about what that process is like, and what changes maybe you as a person had to undergo to understand such a psychopath.
Not a thing. No, 17 was always my favorite villain. Grew up being a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. The Future Trunks timeline, also my favorite. So it just gave me an excuse to go back and watch a ton of Dragon Ball Z. Any episode 17 was in, I watched. may have even watched a little bit of GT. I'm sorry. I know. I had to get it in there though. I just had to make sure I was covering all my bases. Played all the video game, just anything I could find on 17. Cause, you know, it's different when like you're an actor and you get the chance to kind of make up a character. You know, they give you a script, they give you a breakdown, and you can kind of take it from there. But when you are taking a character that everyone already knows so well, I mean, they know everything about this guy. You kind of make sure you cover all your bases. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you look the part, you
Thanks,
sound
man.
like someone who could totally nail the role, and you did nail the role, and
Thanks.
every single time I see you up there, and that grin that you have when you wipe the blood off your face, I'm like, oh damn, this is like, it's just so cool to see such an amazing character be performed by such an amazing actor. So I think
Thanks,
most people
man.
here would say that you've done an amazing job, and I personally appreciate it as a fan. Excellent work.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Next question is for the youngest member of the crew, Jack. Plays, young Jesus Christ.
I've actually never held one of these except for like those kiddie ones. I was like, what's it called? Preschool. So, yes!
Jack, your role, I think, is unique because, let's be honest, you're playing an iconic character that becomes one of the favorites, period, flat out in almost all of anime. That character is recognized, and so the role that you have, that's a really big burden to have on your shoulders. And additionally, you also play a really, really young character because you're a young kid, and that can be maybe slightly intimidating when you're around seasoned actors that are much older. Can you tell us a little about that and what that was like?
At first I was a little like freaked out about it. Basically, you could say overwhelmed. Overwhelmed. As I went on getting to know all the killer and my mentor and the other killer and the handsome older me, and I then started to feel like at home. Make sure you put the quotes on that. But as I got to get to know them, I felt better. I felt it was fun. It was getting, I don't know what you call it. Thank you, Haley. Exciting.
Now, you actually have to step up and you have to fight an adult too, by the way, which that alone can
And I really don't like getting beat up by a girl. It's gonna ruin my reputation. Come on.
Well, she's a powerful android, though, so I think people understand that you can hold your own, but that can be kind of like, you know, getting pummeled into the ground. I think we kind of get it, but...
No.
Well, either way, Jack. Oh, you know what? Actually, that was something I was curious about personally. How has it been doing stunts and whatnot? I mean, do you have a CGI stunt double, or do you do all of your own? Tell us a little about that. What's going on there?
I actually don't know if I have a CGI. If I do, that'd be like the best. It's like a twin brother, which would be really cool.
They call each other on the phone. You guys hang out, you know, Jack.
Hey, Jack, what's up? So basically, yeah.
You do all your own stunts? You do everything that you see that's all you on there?
No, well, as my dad told me earlier today, I play a sport called lacrosse. He said, you don't want to be a ball hog, you want to be a team player, and being a team player would mean counting on your team, so it's not just all me. But it does count, like, as a choreographer, of tell when to punch, when to kick, when to, wait, no, not punch, but fly, when to, you know, talk, when to not talk. Yeah.
So essentially, your dad sounds like he's extremely wise, but okay, go ahead.
Oh, he's a nice, tall, handsome man over there.
Jack's getting pretty shy. I'm really proud of this little guy because we trained really hard to get this fight choreography down. Lohan and these guys, they committed so much time, and it was pretty amazing watching little Jack, like, flying off wires and falling in the mats, and like, he was a trooper. So it was pretty incredible. I just wanted to interject a little bit. I was really proud to see him come through and do what he did for being, you know, being a tough little guy.
Thank you.
It's the history of Trunks. It is all about you and you. So if you want to be kind of center stage, totally understand. But you did great work. The last thing that I wanted to say is, much like us, are you excited about transforming into a Super Saiyan for the first time as a little kid? Are you stoked about that?
What do you think?
Fair enough answer, reasonable. I'm going to go ahead and go on a limb here and say, yes, you're extremely excited and you can't wait to do that.
That's wrong.
No.
It's more than yes.
Okay, all right. I'm going to go ahead and steal the light from you a little bit. I'm going to give it over to your older and handsome counterpart, Tim.
Okay.
If you don't mind, is that okay? Can I squeeze in here?
Yeah.
Tim, for those of you guys that may not have caught this, in the very beginning, the monologue, the over monologue is actually done by Tim. It's Future Trunks kind of setting up the stage for the world that we're in while stepping back in time, so to speak, to the shoes of the younger version of Trunks. But Tim, your first on-screen appearance is going to show up when? Do you know when you're going to actually be stepping into that role? Do you have any idea yet?
I believe it's episode 3.
Episode 3, okay, so we still have a little bit of time to wait. That being said, I mean, obviously good and great things come to all of those who wait. However, that said, Future Trunks is, again, one of the most popular characters in almost all of anime, for the most part.
I'd say the popular, but the most popular.
What was that process like, taking on such a role and considering what's going to come and what that can do to your potential acting career, taking on a role like that, with so many people watching?
Honestly, I think this could take me so far over the edge, and I'm just hoping I'm prepared for it. Trunks has been, I've been the biggest fan of Trunks since I first saw him. I relate to him so very well. Future Trunks, specifically, just because the darkness of what he goes through, the hardship and the growth that comes out of that. I relate to it so well. I feel so much of me in the character, and so I feel like I can give so much to him. And after I'm able to show that, yeah, I see a lot happen, definitely.
So, episode 3, obviously episode 1 we just took a glance at. Episode 2 is coming up soon. Episode 3 right around the corner after that, presumably. So you have a little bit of time, and probably more so to prep, as pretty much, everybody else on stage has kind of had some experience with this already. But can you maybe tell us about what your prep time is going to be like, and things that are involved in that to get ready for such a role on camera?
Definitely. So, as far as the physicality part, I've been basically going to the gym 24/7 with 17 over here. We get along quite well. Yeah, you wouldn't think. So hitting the gym quite a bit, trying to put on as much weight and muscle mass, and then tone up as much as possible following that. And then just really get into his head. Just really dive deep into what he's gone through, what he's lost, and how he's grown from that. How's that affected him and given him his power and his abilities. So yeah.
Final question, short one here. Are you excited to wear that jacket? That thing is pretty awesome, wasn't it? Are you excited about that?
I think I saw a tear in your eye.
Yeah. There might have been a few. I'm beyond ecstatic.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think we're all very excited to see you kind of don on such a role and take that on. We're very excited to see you take that on and move forward and carry the series with obviously the premise that it's up to you to save this world and assist the other world and all that stuff. There's a lot riding on your shoulders as well as an actor and the character, so we're very, very anxious to see that getting started.
As am I.
Ruth Ann, I wanted to bring this question to you because you probably are, in this series, one of the more unique characters, and I mean that in the sense that you were kind of the OG. Let's think about this for a second. Gohan doesn't show up until the first few episodes of Dragon Ball Z. Trunks and the androids don't show up until the middle of Dragon Ball Z. Bulma has been a cornerstone, a pillar, a staple in this series since the very beginning of Dragon Ball. So you've had a lot more research and things to look into to take on that role for what we've seen so far, what we're going to continue to see. What has that been like for you?
Oh, it's been awesome, because I'm actually a huge Dragon Ball Z fan before this. Like, Honey and Rita will tell you, when I went in for the audition, actually even before that, when I saw the audition notice, I actually sent them a note and was like, I guess I kind of look more like Chi-Chi, but I'm really excited to audition as Bulma. And as soon as I walked in, like, I had read the sides, I'm like, excuse me, is this a part of the Android saga? And like, I saw Donnie go like, why, that's an excellent question. But yeah, I love it. It was the best thing ever to go all the way back, because admittedly, like when I first started watching Dragon Ball Z, I hated Bulma. I did, I'm sorry. She was just so naggy and all, she was just so annoying. I was like, I want to get back to the fight. I don't want to like watch her chase this frog for like 18 episodes. Man, I want to see the fight. rewatched it, especially watching like the subtitle stuff, I realized that she is the only reason that the show happens. I'm just saying. But I mean, it's true. Like Goku would have never left his mountain if she hadn't shown up with a radar and been like, "Hey, join me on this adventure." I mean, after hitting him with her car and then shooting him, but you know, we don't talk about that. I mean, she makes all of the stuff that they use to go to Namek. She makes the time capsule. Like, it's really exciting to take on this role. It was a lot of fun, like, rewatching everything. So much fun. Like, and really picking it apart, where, you know, thinking about it from her perspective of why she yells at these guys all the time. Like, of course she yells at them. They're these idiots that keep getting into all this trouble. And she's like, just stop doing that. Like, oh, like dealing with Goku all the time that, like, yeah, it's not the brightest.
Well, I think I can speak for many anime fans, and along with you and everybody else on stage, we're really, really excited that you guys are doing this, that you guys are nailing it, and that you guys are going to continue to do such a great job with that. I wanted to take this time now to get a couple of fan-related questions in there. Just keep in mind, while I'm sure that all of your questions are extremely important and valid, let's try to make it a bit of a big question. Let's not ask what their favorite colors are, or favorite ice cream, and all that stuff. Let's talk about maybe something related to the series that kind of projects some bigger questions. If you do have a question, let's go up front here, and you can use the mic, so that way you can kind of address that and maybe speak face-to-face with those people. Show of hands who actually have a serious question that you feel you must ask, otherwise you're just going to lose your mind. I thought I saw Android 17 here. Do you want to come over here?
Yes.
Come up here. Be close to them. Let's get your question here.
If you could make a live-action version of any other saga in Dragon Ball Z, what would it be?
I probably just want to continue with the Cell Saga. So what I'm saying is, if you guys watch these next 2 episodes, subscribe and do all that stuff, and if you seem to like it, that might be something that could happen. That would be amazing.
If you guys are more comfortable just asking the question where you're saying it's fine, didn't want to expect you to yell, but if you guys are comfortable, feel free to shout the question if you'd like. But keep in mind real quick, there was a good point that was brought up here, is that this was not something that could have been possible without your guys' support and your help. To be honest, while these guys are the ones making it, they're doing it because of you and for you. So, in essence, you can kind of think about that you guys are all part of the family. You guys are the ones that watch it, you guys are the ones that make this happen, and that's a very, very big detail, I think, that should not be overlooked. That said, does anybody else have a question they would like to Tien? You can either ask from there or come up here, it's up to you. Oh, the mini Johnson!
Would you ever have auditions for other characters?
We're looking for a Tien, right?
Yeah. I'm holding auditions for Vegeta.
At this point, we have cast for these next couple episodes, but it never hurts to go to our website. It's robotunderdog.com and submit. We get a lot of people that submit like their resume or their headshots or stuff like that. So I mean, please do, because if you fit a role that we want to do in the future, you know, it can work out. Thank you.
Yeah.
Questions? I don't want to miss anything. Questions, guys?
Okay, so get some.
18.
Yeah, 18. Loving the outfit, by the way.
Thank you. I was inspired by this. So we already got to see the beginning of Trunks' infamous jacket that he gets to wear. I was wondering if Tapion's sword is also going to make an appearance, considering that the characters and stuff might be a little bit more difficult to go over.
Well, the sword is making an appearance, but we've been going back and forth with the origin of the sword. Akira Toriyama never blatantly said that was from Tapion, and basically the way, if you really meticulously look at the history, technically Tapion never came to that timeline. And if he did, he would have been stuck like inside the music box or whatever. So he couldn't have actually given him the sword. So there's a lot of stipulation as if he got it from Gohan, if he got it from somewhere else. But most people who theorize it actually say that that version of the sword did not come from Tapion. So we're still playing with it. A lot of the fans want it to be from Tapion, even though technically it's not. So we haven't fully decided. But the sword will be in it. Cool. It's just a matter of where it comes from.
Yeah, we're definitely going to show. We're definitely going to show the sword. It's going to be awesome, and we're going to show how he got it. But yeah, we'll keep it a surprise as to what that, like how he gets it.
All right.
But it's going to be it. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a few final moments here. Do you got a question that you want to ask? Yeah. Come up over to ask him there, whatever you'd like to do.
All right. I remember in the episode series when Trunks fought Cell, he went something beyond the Super Saiyan form that I really loved for him. Are you guys going to show that in the Android series when he returns after defeating Cell?
That's why Tim's been lifting all the weights, man.
We are going to show. We are going to show how he levels up to become as powerful as he does, in order to, obviously beat the androids, because that kind of growth is just insane unless something traumatic happens. So, keep in mind, because we're a small team and we have limited resources, we had to find a way that was, true to the story, but a way that we could literally afford to produce a show where we explain how that happens. So. We're taking a different approach as far as we won't see Cell that fight, but we are going to explain it in a way that makes sense and that's faithful to the story. But yeah, we're going to have to kind of avoid certain things like characters like that, because that would be a completely CGI kind of thing that we just couldn't do. But the explanation for it is actually really great, and I'm pretty excited to show it. So we definitely aren't showing Cell, but because of that, we had to make sure that what we're going to do is going to be really cool. So yeah, that's it.
Right, we still have the Dragon Ball and the shirts to give away. I think we could probably do that now, unless we have any other major questions that need to be asked.
I ask what color it is now.
Well, okay, this will be the last question, if that's okay. Do you have a question too? Okay, last two questions.
Any songs from the anime you put in the live action?
The songs from the anime brought in the live action?
We have Abe Castaneda he's amazing. He's our composer. He's doing an original score inspired by what they actually did in the anime. We didn't want to just rip someone else's music. So even with the entirety of this project, we are obviously inspired by Dragon Ball, but we're adding our own flavor, so we're never just directly ripping it, because you could always go to the anime for that. They always say, it's not worth doing something if you're going to just copy completely. So we try to give everything our own flavor. And our composer, again, he's just incredible. I'm grateful to have him on the team, and he's totally influenced by the original compositions and adding his own flair to it. So yeah. Again, everything's fan-made. I mean, even our composer has Dragon Balls tattooed on his arm, and like awesome dragons on his arm. Everyone's really yeah.
He did do a pretty sweet cover of the Rock the Dragon song though. Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Yeah, you guys can check it out. What is it? YouTube.com/RobotUnderdog2, right? Yeah, so Robot Underdog and then just number 2 at the end is their YouTube channel where you can see that stuff. Your question?
With Dragon Ball Z fandom growing and Resurrection F being in theaters, Battle of the Gods being in theaters, do you think that with the fandom of this growing, do you think there's a chance that you're going to move beyond YouTube, and has there been talk or whispers or anything to move into a box office?
All the whispers.
Yeah.
So many whispers. Oh, so many whispers.
I won't hog all the answers, but yeah, I'll let Rita answer that one. No? Okay, I'll go ahead. We definitely, it's really exciting to see the Dragon Ball culture being revitalized, and coming back, and seeing Resurrection F, seeing Battle of Gods, in actual theaters in America. It's insane. And I really hope that we can do something that's impressive enough to really shine light on how to do this right, and then hopefully we're the guys that can do this, the real version of this. I mean, it would be a dream come true to be able to make a feature film that hits all theaters, that does Dragon Ball Z justice, and you know, our goal is to keep the exact same team that has been passionate and like hungry, just like making this the best we possibly can with the scraps that we have available to us, and with a real budget, I think we could do something really incredible, you know. So that's totally.
To add to that fact as well, keep in mind that again, these things happen because you guys watch it. You guys want to see it, it gets made, etc. The fan funding and everything, that stuff helps go to create these epic, amazing sequences that you see, the episodes and whatnot. So the more that you guys say that you want it, the more that you watch it. If you guys contribute in any way, keep in mind like $1 still is enough to help to go a long way if everybody contributes in that way. You know, you guys want to see more of the Cell Saga, you guys want to see something on a bigger scale. Those things can totally happen. We've absolutely seen now that the fans have the power to make exactly what we want to see. Our favorite series from a cartoon can be made into live action. It can be done, and it will be done. But we need your help to make that happen. So keep doing what you're doing, don't let up, and eventually, fingers crossed, these things could become a reality. That's the goal, okay? Now, we got through the majority of the panel before we call it adieu. We do have the Dragon Ball and the t-shirts to give away. Little Jack, maybe would you want to whip out your smartphone and look up some of the tweets that we got about this and give away the Dragon Ball? You want to do that?
Sure, but I don't have one. I got it in the car.
All right, fine.
Hey, Tristan, can you come up, please? Por favor,
Tristan?
Tristan? Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Tristan M? Yeah. All right. Yeah, we're starting with shirts. We're going to start with shirts. Here you go, man.
Sorry, man. You need 6 more. It doesn't work.
We got 2 more shirts to give away, then we'll do the Dragon Ball.
Rebecca?
We should have a cosplay contest.
Rebecca Fint?
Rebecca Fint?
Rebecca Fint, please come up. Please, come on.
I'm Rebecca Fint.
No.
Cameron Starr?
Cameron Starr.
John Martin?
John Martin?
Yeah.
Big Hero 6 hat? Your Big Hero 6 hat? That's awesome. I was watching that movie this morning, actually, and I was like, oh, I love this movie. I was like, where do I get that hat? I'm not kidding. It literally happened. Sonic, whatever. I'm a fan. I'm like...
Veronica?
Veronica!
Veronica!
Daniel, please come up. Daniel, man.
There's quite a few Daniels.
Daniel! Dragon Ball winner! Dragon Ball winner. Dragon Ball
Epic Marty McFly, by the way. I saw the shoes.
Give him a hand.
Alright guys, so one final thing before we go. We want to take a picture to hopefully post up on the Robot Underdog website. If you guys want to find a way to come together so we can do this, or do you want to just do it that way? Okay, alright, cool. Then let's get this big shot in of everybody.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Act like you like us.
Let's go DBZ's people. Yeah.
Hey guys, so as we wrap this us up. I just want to, again, just thank you guys for coming out. I am curious, who has seen this, the first episode before coming here? That's amazing. I gotta say, when we first uploaded the video, it was insanity. We've been up for like 48 hours, just finishing it up and putting it up, and we uploaded it and just crashed for like 24 hours. And waking up to like hundreds of thousands of views, and we did not know if 5 people would watch this after all the hard work. And to see all your guys' support, it's just unreal. I can't thank you guys enough, and I appreciate you spreading the word. And to those that hadn't seen it, please go to our YouTube channel and finish watching the rest of the episode. There's tons of other additional content on there. We constantly keep everyone updated. I don't think we ever really touched this point, but we raised $6,000 to do that video on Indiegogo, and we raised approximately $60,000 for the next 2. Because we really wanted to up the ante and bring it, if you thought that was even decent, like these next ones are going to be amazing. Just super pumped. I'm super proud of our team. Everyone's worked super hard for this, to make this a reality, and we just want to do the best thing we can for you guys. And so again, just thank you for coming out. Thanks for your support. And please just keep checking in on our YouTube channel and watching what we got coming for you guys.
All right, big round of applause. Thank you guys for coming out, making history with us for our first ever panel here at Long Beach Comic Con. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great evening, and thank you once again. Take care, everybody.
If there's anything I have to say to the world or to the fans, is thank you for the support. As we all say, this could never be possible without the fans. Thank you, Robot Underdog Army.
We all say